Let's talk about positive psychology. And then let's plan on Tuesday. Just plan the place and we'll meet there at the time instead of meeting here. Okay.
Can we not talk about psychology?
Positive.
I mean, no,
I know.
In class,
at lunch? Yeah. Okay, so I mentioned this last week. Do you remember this?
Flourishing, yes.
Flourishing. What did I say about it? Do you remember this?
It's from
What do you YouTube?
the crop scale.
is that from languishing?
Languishing, very
There's
good.
only one person that can do my makeup. and that's it.
Languishing
Wait, who? Oh, okay.
That's our daughter.
to flourishing.
Okay,
Gracias.
you're very welcome anytime.
Bye, guys.
Okay, so the definition is a state where people experience positive emotions, positive psychological functioning, and positive social functioning. So positive emotions, we're going to talk about those in a moment. Psychological functioning and positive social functioning. We just spent a lot of time talking about the importance of social relationships. Super, super important. These face-to-face
I was looting here with
relationships.
the promise of sweets.
Yes, go enjoy yourself. It's my birthday today and my amazing class brought, you want to focus on our beautiful display of cake and cupcakes and flowers and balloons. I am so excited.
Sorry, I got everybody's head in the way.
Okay, so we need to talk about social relationships, but there's something that is called PERMA. This is an acronym. This is positive emotion, engagement, relationships, which I think is beyond important, that's my go-to, meaning, and accomplishment. It is believed that these 5 things are what define well-being. In order for you to flourish, you need positive emotion. We did the positive emotion scale on Tuesday. Engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. What are positive emotions?
Smiling, laughing.
Okay, those are gestures, smile and laughing, so they're nonverbals that indicate that we're having positive emotions. But what are the actual emotions? Okay, emotion of love,
I'm having a great
the
day.
feeling of having a great day. Okay, excellent, I'm having a great day. Yes, today I'm filled with positive emotions.
Accomplished.
Okay, accomplished is, but that's its own category that we'll talk about. What other emotions?
How do you feel?
Happiness.
Happiness, gratitude, contentment, joy,
Satisfied.
satisfied, yes. So when do we feel these things? Why are we feeling happy today?
Because
What
it's
happened
an
today?
important
It's your
day.
birthday.
It's my
I mean,
birthday.
celebration.
We're celebrating. You guys just had an opportunity to talk to the president and tell him what you like or don't like. So being heard, being listened to is important, being valued.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to recognize that certain things in our life are positive. We have a very easy time focusing on the negative. I'm the first one. And Trisha's the second. Okay, so recognizing that there's positive is the first thing. What have I told you is the one thing that you could do? Come in. What's the one thing I told you you could do? Come on and help yourself.
Of course.
Each day to increase your positive emotion. I told you research shows that doing this one thing each day is one of the major things that increases positive emotion.
Having gratitude.
Having gratitude. Making a gratitude list. You can get yourself a little journal, a notebook, and or create your own little WhatsApp group and text one another 3 little insignificant things. They don't have to be monumental, life-altering things. Yes?
Nisha does that.
You do that each day?
Not every day more.
Okay. But how do you get into the practice?
I was reading them, and when I sent it out, the feedbacks I was getting what made me send more.
Because you were sending quotes.
Yes.
You were sending quotes each day. Absolutely. A positive gesture. How did you guys feel when you got it? Because I loved it. They always seem to come at like the best time of the day when I needed to read something.
How did you know?
And what is that called?
So,
Yes?
wait, synchronous.
Synchronicity, yes. So we were talking about synchronicity the other day, about internal things and external things happening at the same time. And how did you just know? When you would send those quotes, they would come at the exact moment when we needed them. That's synchronistic. That isn't an accident. That's not coincidence. So, and then you got, as a result, a positive comment back, or you got a positive vibration from sending it out.
I
Okay,
was
so that's
crying.
something that's positive emotion.
I was crying and trying not to show my son, and yours came in. I was like, yay, somebody heard me.
You see?
Yeah.
The other day,
The faces you're getting when you're like, oh, here, they're like, grow up.
He likes just in case.
You hungry?
He's like,
The other day, I was sitting at my desk and I was kind of down, and what happened was I started getting all of these texts. So one of my texts from a client in Colorado, another text from her mother, and another text from a client in Georgia. And they were all like, come stay with us, come visit us, just wanted to say I love you. Like, I was like, oh my God,
about to
what is
I'm
going
sorry.
on?
I am sorry,
Don't
but
mind-
he's
don't
singing my
mind.
cookies. Those are my favorite.
Positive emotion back there. Sugar, positive emotion, yes.
All you have to do is write cookies.
And, yeah, and it already makes you happy. Oh, we're gonna do a little activity. That makes you remember that. So, I was like, oh my God, at this exact moment that I'm kind of feeling down, my day is starting to wind down, it's very hard for me when I'm gonna leave work. When I'm gonna leave work and I'm gonna go home to an empty house now, I have a very difficult time around 4 or 5 o'clock. So the phone just starts to beep, beep, beep. And these people, now my one client in Colorado, super close to her, love her, not shocked, so to speak. But her mother, love you, thank you. And keep it up,
We
Mama.
have too many kids, we have like all the foster kids coming and pick up like tournament gear that we're giving them for free.
Okay, we should get together to do something, because maybe we could do some sort of intervention with them, an internship.
Yeah, we can.
The students with
We
your
can.
kids.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Every Saturday we do things with them. Last Saturday we went to the beach with them.
Okay.
Yeah, like some of those kids never had even been to the beach or even went inside the ocean or seen the ocean and like physically seen the ocean.
So imagine all the positive emotion
I
that
would be
she's,
crying. I'm
that
gonna
you're
cry right
bringing
now.
to those kids. That has to feed you, that has to
I
feed your
love
soul.
going to work.
Yeah.
And I love being around all of them. They all call me their mom.
Aw.
Just what Marcia needs, more kids.
But I know my nephews are going there too. And my
Nice.
son's about to be black belt right now in Taekwondo, so like they're all together. Janice's working there too. My daughter's
Oh,
working there with
nice.
me. So like we're all together all the time.
Amazing.
It's really cool. I'll tell you guys more later.
Nice, yes.
I'll come back on Tuesday. I'll come.
Okay.
Because if you guys want to do that field trip, I'll do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
And so I was like, this woman is just texting me out of the blue. Like, I've given her one session years ago, and she is like, oh my God, please come to Colorado and stay with me. My husband travels 2 weeks out of the year. And then at the same time, a client of mine from Georgia, just to tell you I love you, just thinking about you.
Aw.
And it was like the synchronicity. How did these people know that at that moment I needed something? We're constantly sending out to the universe what we need. And it's like sort of like a boomerang and coming back. But we need to feel those positive emotions for part of well-being and to be happy. Okay? So today, you're sad, but you see that you have a support group. and that you're not gonna be judged, that you're gonna be supported, you're gonna be hugged even though you don't wanna be hugged. And we love you, and I'm so happy that you're here. And
I
that
got
positive
her to
motion
come
of feeling,
forcefully because I was like, no, you're not gonna miss it.
and
And she's
that's
like, oh, I'm
awesome.
gonna wear this shirt. I was
Awesome,
like-
so she wore the
Yeah.
shirt, and you came, and I'm so
Yes.
appreciative. And that's not a small gesture, because I didn't wanna live earlier this year. I didn't wanna live when I met you guys. So all of this today, a celebration of my birth, a celebration that I'm here, is a really big deal. This is huge. So when we can reach out to another person and we can give a positive emotion, or we can be grateful for something that's positive in our lives, it does huge things for our well-being. It changes our cellular function. Our cells actually change. There's this wonderful book called The Biology of Belief, and it talks about this. Bruce Lipton, because she buys every book I ever reference in class, this girl has bought. And it's an amazing book, because what he talks about is research. He's a neuroscientist, and he shows how the cells actually change. One cell talks to the next cell, talks to the next cell. So just like we look in the mirror and we say negative things to ourselves, if we're having these positive emotions, we're actually changing the cellular structure of our entire body. We now know that the brain is plastic. It has neuroplasticity. We can change the brain. Before we thought we killed our brain cells, we were done. No, now we know that we can actually change the brain. So take out a piece of paper. Take out 2 pieces of paper, tiny.
Stop crying. Shut up. I'm sitting next to my homie here. We're both crying. So.
Just a little piece of paper.
You guys share.
You
how
can rip it in
cry,
half.
'cause I don't know how to cry.
You can rip it in half. On one side, here, use that one. You only need a half of it. We're gonna roll it up into a ball.
Use that one. You can have.
So rip it in half. On one,
Talk about her hamburger.
that's perfect. On one part of the paper, so rip them in half, you're just gonna roll them into a ball. You're going to write, if you love sugar, if you love soda, if you love cookies, if you love cake, something that you really, really love, that's indulgent. A food,
Oh, okay.
a food item you really love. So she wants her cookies, cupcakes, and just write it all over the paper. Write it 5, 10 times, doesn't
Can I eat
matter.
one thing?
Yeah, one item.
I know.
So if it's
I
soda,
have more
if
than one.
it's Coke, if it's cupcakes, just one thing you really love. So like I saw the carrot cake and I was like, oh my God, I love carrot cake. A lot of you guys love the red velvet, whatever it is.
So we write like one thing or food.
One of your favorite sweet indulgent foods.
Has to be sweet.
It doesn't have to be sweet. Because some people aren't sweet
Could it
people.
be a dish, like a food?
Anything.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I was thinking.
It could be a cultural dish that you love, that you have a memory around, that would be great.
All right.
Or I'll just write it big. Just gonna write big.
You getting more alcohol?
Oh,
Bring me some.
Bring some.
It's not 11 yet?
it's not 11.
Bring for the whole class.
Don't forget us.
Now, in the other piece of paper, write something you actually detest, something you hate to eat, that if someone forced you to eat it, you would vomit.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I guess.
Pick something you don't like.
Oh my god.
Liver,
Liver.
I love liver.
like liver?
I love liver.
Hígado. You
I
love hígado? Oh my God, I think you're like the only person I've ever met.
Are you kidding
That
me?
loves hígado.
I love
Beets,
beets.
you like beets?
I like beets.
Eggplant?
Right? That's what I'm saying. Liver's the best.
And berenjena.
I've never had that.
It's like that dark purple weird green one.
Wait, what are you guys eating?
Just find something that you're not crazy about.
I never had it.
Brussels sprouts.
What?
A fried heart.
I grew up eating.
Oh, fried heart.
She's saying it's good though.
Chicken heart. I love it.
Yeah, that's gizzards.
Oh my God.
That's the feeling I get with that, like liver, all of that.
Right,
stuff. Like,
liver,
I-
gizzards, brain.
Liver is
Gizzards
good.
are good.
Liver is completely.
Okay, so stand up and take your one paper of your sweets. Thank you, Mama. Come help yourself.
Yeah, have some sweets.
Now roll it up into a ball.
The sweets.
The sweet, the thing you like. Roll it up into a ball and stand up.
And we're gonna hit you in the nose.
Yes, so the one I catch is what I'm having for dessert today, right?
Okay.
Oh my God, look at you.
Another
Thank
cake.
you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we're all gonna gain weight today. No, yeah. Okay, so take your paper and now close your eyes and roll it all over your head, your face, your body, and pay attention. Do it slow,
Okay.
and then I want you to pretend you're eating it.
Oh, wow.
I remember this.
And what sensation happens when you're eating that indulgent, delicious thing that you just love? What is your body saying to you? You sure, Tricia, that you picked the good one?
Yeah, really.
You sure you like that?
I'm tasting paper, that's what
Forget the paper. We're going to focus on what you put on that piece of paper. And when you go to your mouth, and you don't have to put it in your mouth, just put it close so you don't taste the paper and the ink. What is it that you feel?
Guilt.
You feel
Yeah.
guilt. Okay, what'd you put on your paper?
Cookies.
Cookies, okay, guilt, okay, I mean, positive emotion when we're talking about food, of course, that makes sense. When we talk about resilience, like we talked about on Tuesday, guilt is one of those negative emotions. Paula, what are you tasting? Because you've been keeping it by your mouth, you love it.
No, she went like this and everything.
What are you tasting?
Sushi.
Oh my
Sushi,
God, thank you.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, very
With
nice.
avocado.
Okay, I love avocado. Okay, now take your negative paper, make it into a ball,
Oh God.
and
Can I
you're
get
gonna do
the
the same
garbage?
thing.
I want to do it, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, I don't know.
I've been feeling nauseous today, so I don't think I want to roll this.
Just
Here we
see.
go, let's see.
I just want to see your faces. Trisha's like not having it. She's like, this thing is not getting near me. I don't want it near me. Paula, I think, is actually having physical reactions to whatever it is. Pedro, what are you feeling? Because as it gets closer to your stomach, you're like, ugh.
I know the taste, I can remember the taste.
What was it?
It's a weird taste,
What's the food?
it's liver.
Liver. And what's the memory?
The first time I tried it,
How old were you?
I was probably, 4 or 5. My dad made it's like a, what do you call it? Liver in, some type of, with onions.
Liver onions?
Yeah.
In the plant
Yeah,
pan?
and they just, it's like it looks like a steak, but it's not steak. I thought it was steak, so I went in. Nah.
Oh, that's because you've never had lingua de vaca.
I have tongue, I love tongue.
Are you
But
serious?
it's not the
How are you
same.
gonna like the tongue and not the liver?
Well, but you didn't like it. But look at the memory.
Yeah.
It brought up, it evoked the memory immediately. There he was again, his father on the grill or whatever making it. He thought it was a steak, he cut into it. I mean, he was very visual with it. Imagine if you do this activity with your clients with virtues or strengths and positive emotions, and if you have them do it with something like anger or guilt or grief. You can really get clients to evoke certain emotions from their childhood, and you can ask them, when was the first time you felt that guilt? Or where was the first time that you felt that anger? When was the first time that you felt that grief? And you can really start evoking from the client, from the subconscious feelings. This is just a paper, that is not liver, but it doesn't matter. The subconscious doesn't know that it's not real. It's on the paper and it thinks, this one enjoyed that sushi like if she would be at Raw right now,
But right
eating
now,
it.
right now
She
you
was
could pass me
tasting.
the garbage can because I'm
What did
feeling
you taste with your negative?
beans.
Beans.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Because my mom used to like, I'm so grateful that I'm a lot older, although she treats me like a kid, but she used to, and now she does it with my son. She mixed it in, or she just put it on the side, and if I didn't eat it, she would like force me to eat
That's
it.
how
and
my
I'm
mom
like,
was too, with rice and beans. Ongri together.
Oh, yeah.
Just the thought of it.
The brown rice with the, that's the congri, right?
Yeah.
The brown rice
Yeah.
with the, oh,
The
she
beans.
brings some to feed to the homeless. Pobrecito.
You're like, Mom, don't hurt the homeless like that. Nellis asked me the other day, is there anything you don't eat? And I was like, shrimp.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh my God, because my mother, and we can all have a memory of when we had this. I was a very little girl, my mother was leaving to school, she made rice and shrimp, and I told her I don't want any shrimp. And the shrimp were really, really tiny. And I think that she was hiding the shrimp in the rice. I think so, that's just my opinion. Maybe it just slipped by her because they were little, I don't know. But when I went and I took that, oh my God, and I have a repugnancia, repugnance from that day forward, and I cannot eat shrimp. And years ago, my daughter's birthday, she's like, Mom, I want you to eat a piece of shrimp for my birthday, like for me to prove that I loved her. Oh my God. I wanted to die. And luckily we were at the hibachi, and that at least tastes decent because they put butter and soy sauce and something like that. And I ate that, and I thought I was going to die. My whole body was cringy and slimy and gross. And so we can evoke these positive, just as bad as negative emotions with just a piece of paper. So imagine what you can do when a client is feeling down on themselves and they can put something really positive like courage or strength or a value or gratitude and pass that all over their body. You can evoke that positive emotion in the person, and that's a homework assignment you can give them if they're having a bad day. So you see how susceptible we are? The subconscious remembers everything and immediately brings it up. And you can say to the client, when was the first time you felt courageous? And I bet you that they're gonna remember that time on the swing set, or they saved their friends from the red ant bites, or whatever it is that they have that memory. So we're very, very susceptible. Just on a piece of paper, we're here tasting the good or the bad of the item.
I can constantly stop breathing because
Okay.
I want to take in the smell.
Okay.
Every time I get sick, my mom does this remedy with onions and ginger. That's
I've
like
heard
the
about it.
most
Really?
disgusting
That's
shit
good.
ever. It does take whatever you have away.
Yeah.
It does.
But honey,
But I can't swallow it. The first time she did it, she's like, try it, it's not bad. I'm like, Mom, it smells like ginger? Onion.
Yeah, onion,
She's
ginger,
like, you
and
won't
honey.
taste it. So
Yeah,
here
right,
I
you're not
go.
gonna
I'm like,
taste it.
okay. Here I go. I couldn't even swallow it because it was just like pure onion and ginger. And I was like, no, you can drink it if you think it doesn't taste like onion. And right now when I was doing the paper, unconsciously I stopped breathing. I was holding my breath and I'm like, why am I holding my breath? I was passed out like holding my breath.
But that's
because of
exactly
the
how
onion.
susceptible we are. So imagine when we have positive emotions. That's why I had you in the first day of this class do that values and action page. Because every single one of you chose positive values, positive emotions towards yourself. And remember that you have those qualities. You guys can sit down now. So the first part, there's 5 parts to well-being and happiness, is having positive emotion towards self or towards the day or towards your life. And we all can be grateful for even the smallest things. But see what powerful activity that is and what a powerful homework assignment that is for clients. And you can give this to them. The second is engagement. What's engagement? And we had a perfect example of that today, this morning.
Face to face.
Face-to-face engagement. We had this conversation with the president. You guys got to be heard. You shared. You were vocal about it. You had engagement with each other. When I walked in and you guys all said happy birthday, that was an engagement. I was like engaged by the presence of all of you, and that just made me happy.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised. I saw and that's why I said to Gerson, I said, oh, go in, because I figured no one was here. It was dark. And so then when I walked in and I, was surprised with you guys. But I knew that you were gonna bring something, but I thought you were gonna bring a little cake or something. I didn't think that it was gonna be
Oh,
this.
I made something, but it
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
it wouldn't have been enough for everybody, so I made, it's called a vegan gluten-free lemon squares, and it's delicious. And that's why I asked you, are you allergic to anything? Because it's like made with tofu and stuff like that,
Okay.
and, dates and almonds, so most people are
Oh my
allergic to
God,
like
that sounds so
nuts and
nice.
stuff. So it was very nice and it's healthy and stuff, but, it was the first time I was making it, so I make, into a little mold, and, even if I cut it into like small pieces, it wouldn't have been enough for everybody, so I was like, you know what, let's just get everything else, and I'll make another one.
But that's engagement. She planned, she went shopping, she thought, she texted me, that thoughtfulness and engagement with others, even if you didn't bring it. The pleasure in making it or the pleasure in planning it is an engagement. We need to feel engaged in our daily life. How many of you feel disconnected from things? Completely disconnected. And I'll speak to Tricia because I know that she and I have been going through something similar, and we were talking about this the other day. Lack of engagement, we lay in bed. We lay in bed all day. You just lay there. You can't engage. And that causes depression, and depression causes that lack of engagement. How do you feel when you're disengaged? I'm surprised to see it just because I see you with your husband and your kids, so it's interesting to hear you say you feel disengaged.
I'm always connected with them in a way, but not 100%.
Okay.
To my capability.
Okay.
So like they can bring like this, something about Fortnite. I don't know. He's always talking about Fortnite. My kid can come and tell me something about Fortnite, and I'm happy to hear him talk. But the other part of me is like, okay.
Okay.
So it's just a disconnect there.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Our children, and we were talking about social media earlier, our children are into things that we may not be into.
I was just gonna say, maybe because you're not into it.
And you almost
It's
fake
with
it.
everyone though. It's a lot with everyone. It's me, myself. It's
Is it like a
disconnection.
social anxiety? Because I feel that sometimes.
I think it's all the bad shit that's been happening repeatedly. Like it's like a non-stop cycle that I'm just like, if I unplug myself, then I don't have to feel it.
Okay.
And that's what I've done.
Did you get it resolved? You leaving?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'll update you guys, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I apologize.
no problem. So that disconnection is part of why we study mindfulness. Because in mindfulness, we're here and now. We're with that person, even if we don't care what they're talking about. We're able, remember I was talking about flow last week? In flow, we are so out of our own problems that we're just in the flow of what we're doing, that time passes faster. That's part of engagement. But if we're not really there because you're sort of preoccupied, it makes perfect sense. And many people are preoccupied with what's happening to them. I feel it a bit like social anxiety. So I feel very, very insecure that I know nothing. I'm like the stupidest person on the planet. And I get into social situations lately, and I'm like anxious. I feel anxious that I can't contribute to the conversation, that I don't know anything, that I'm stupid, that, oh my God, I'm gonna be found out that I don't know anything. Like, I get into that. So I'm more worried about my anxiety than being engaged with the other person. So I've been making it a point to just listen and learn something about what the other person says and be able to reiterate it and teach it. So yesterday we all went out to lunch, and I was sitting next to this guy who likes guns. I don't like guns, I don't know anything about guns. And I'm like, okay, Francis, engage and learn one or two things about what he's saying. So I learned this thing called optics, where there's like the light and your head, wherever your head goes, it keeps you centered. And I learned that you can buy a gun kit and you can build it yourself.
What?
You can build your own gun. I'm not gonna be doing that. But yeah, so it's cheaper than buying it, I guess, already made. So I said to myself, be engaged, get out of your own head of your social anxiety and learn 2 things and be able to teach it or reiterate it. Because for me, teaching is how I feel that I'm learning stuff. I teach you guys, I'm actually learning as I teach. And that's a pretty common thing that teachers would say. It's just like when you help one another. You learn when you're teaching someone else a concept. So that really helps.